So I don't know how far I'm going to be able to get through this story because Riker just went down for a nap about 30 minutes ago, and I was like, you know, it might be a good time to fit this in. Here we go. My birth did not go according to my plan. There were complications. Ultimately, it was a C-section birth. It was not the experience I was prepared for or even really wanted. But I will say that the team I had with me, the nurses and the doctor I had, they were amazing, and they made this entire ordeal a really good experience. And I've talked to my sisters, I've talked to my friends, and that is not always the case. You don't always have the best team by your side when you're giving birth, especially in the hospital. You know, they're not picked nurses. Like if you're having a home birth, you can pick your doula and all of that kind of thing, your midwife. So that being said, I'm so thankful that my experience with my team, and for the record, I do live in Washington State. It is, I guess, a more progressive area. Having home births is, you know, more acceptable here. And laboring your way is encouraged, and all through the pregnancy and of course the birth, I was encouraged to go according to my birth plan, and they really listened to me. They laid out my options, they recommended, but they didn't say this is what we're going to do. They were very informative. Like, we were a team, and that was, it was just, I'm just so thankful for that. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into the birth story. So this is my first child, my first pregnancy, and I had done all the research I could in preparation for it. I knew my birth plan, and that plan was to have a natural vaginal birth with hopefully no epidural, just because I wanted to see what my body was capable of and if I could do it, because I've seen many wonderful women do it without. My mother did the first two without an epidural. So I was like, you know what, let's just try for it. Let's do that. So that was my birth plan. So let me set up the environment. I'm home, I have my husband, my dad is visiting from Florida, my sister is visiting from Oklahoma, and my other sister is visiting from New York because they want to be here for the birth, and also it's, you know, summer break. Okay, so they're all here, and the baby is due on the 12th. The 12th comes and it goes. Baby, no contractions, no starting in labor. I didn't like lose my mucus plug, I didn't start spotting, my water didn't break, like nothing is happening. I went in and I did have my membranes swept. Still pregnant. It was due on Monday. It is now Thursday, so we're going to sweep my membranes and hopefully that will induce labor. Hopefully. So I had a doctor's appointment to sweep or scrape my membranes because I am 40 weeks and 3 days. So I went in, I had that done, which weird experience. I don't know if it was painful or just uncomfortable or somewhere in between, I don't know, but weird experience. I am kind of crampy, and after, you know, he had it done, I was like instantly crampy, but it's kind of ebbed and flowed. Hasn't really started contractions. Yeah, so we're just waiting on little guy to come on out whenever he wants. Not really. We have our induction scheduled for Tuesday. Since it is a scheduled induction, they want me to go in on Saturday to get COVID tested. So I'll do that if I don't go into labor. My family is here leaving on Wednesday, so if I get induced on Tuesday, they won't they won't be here to see the baby. But you know, baby will come when baby wants to come, I guess. Yeah, so that is where we are at. And so we did the hike. I've been feeling pretty crampy, especially in my lower abdomen, like pelvic region. Baby's been moving, he's been active, but yeah, just really crampy. And it felt good to walk around, get out in the fresh air. But anyway, so we did the hike, we came home, watched a movie, and now it is currently 11:50, but I haven't had any contractions. I have like the tightness of the belly, and it kind of like feels more like not painful but more intense on like the upper part of my belly, and I've been feeling a whole lot more pressure on my like pelvic area. So hopefully I'm gonna go to bed here soon, and hopefully my body will keep progressing and I won't have to do the actual induction, which is scheduled for Tuesday. It's just kind of frustrating. I'm so ready for labor. I'm so ready for the contractions. Like, I have been prepared for the last 3 weeks. And so, but it's gone over. It's just a little frustrating. And sometimes I get like a little pain or whatever. And I'm like, ooh, contraction. That might be one. Or not. So it's like, the waiting, the anticipation, the questions from people, you know, like, what's going on? And I'm like, can you stop reminding me that I haven't gone into labor, please? Like, if there's an update, I will tell you. Like, I'm to the point where I'm like, just kind of over it. Let's just get it over with. And I don't want to be at that mine right now. So I've been trying to distract myself throughout the day so that I don't like think about it. Everything's the same. I don't feel any different. So we'll see. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And that kind of got things going a little bit. Like, I started feeling even more crampy. I was spotting a little bit. I'm pretty sure I had the bloody show a couple of times after that, but still no like contractions. Like, I had some tightening of the belly, but really nothing more than that, and nothing more intense than just regular period cramps. So a week goes by past his due date, and we're coming up on his induction date. So on Sunday, I was preparing for the induction date, which would be on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Okay, so July 20th at 5 p.m. they were gonna induce me if I hadn't spontaneously gone into labor. And so on Sunday, we go to the park, I'm with my family, we're throwing frisbees for the dogs, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just feeling so discouraged. I'm like, why doesn't this baby want to come out? I mean, I guess he's not ready. I really don't want to be induced, because I know that, you know, the stories are if you're induced, you're going to have a more painful labor. And so an epidural is more likely to happen. So I was like, I really don't want to be induced. I just want my body to go into labor. And so I went to bed and I was just like, I'm gonna be pregnant forever. Like, this baby is not gonna come out. He just does not want to come out. Well, okay, so that's Sunday. I go to bed at 2:15ish. I wake up because you know, when you're pregnant, you wake up multiple times during the night to go to the bathroom because baby is pressing on your bladder. So I wake up at my usual time and I open my eyes and I'm like, something feels weird. And then I hear this like pop, like somebody took a needle and popped a water balloon. And I was like, what the heck was that? And then I just kind of feel like water. And thankfully I was wearing these like spandex shorts. And so when I crunched up and then actually stood up, like just water came and like filled my shorts and was like kind of leaking out. And so I waddled to the bathroom and it just, you know, water just came out. And I was like, my water just broke. Like, yes. So I was like super happy. And so I clean myself up and I start to walk back to the bedroom and more water comes out. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And so I go back, I clean myself up and I just put a towel and I waddle in and I'm like waking Anthony up. I'm like, okay, my water just broke. My water just broke. We gotta call the hospital. We gotta start getting going. We're gonna have a baby. My water broke. So I call the hospital and they ask me the questions, of course, of like, when did it break? What color is it? And at that point, I was like, well, it's kind of like a brown, tingy color. He is a week and, you know, he is a week late. So that's a little bit normal, but still an area of concern. And she was like, okay, do you have any contractions? And I'm like, no, I'm just, you know, feeling kind of crampy. She was like, okay, so you have some time. So just relax. Maybe go take a shower, clean yourself up, get your bag, get your husband, and come on in and we'll get you, you know, checked in. And so that's what I do. I take a shower, more liquid is coming out. And like, so for about an hour, I had just water coming out at different times, but it just slowly kept coming out. So I get dressed, get the bag, I get my husband, and I walk over to our duplex in the back because my sister Rebecca was staying in one of them while she was here. And I go in there all quiet because her husband and kids are sleeping. And I'm like, Becca, my water broke. We're headed to the hospital. Baby is coming sometime soon. And so I tell her, we get in the car, we're headed. And Anthony's like, can we stop by Starbucks for some coffee? I'm like, yes, let's stop by Starbucks. So we're in Starbucks and, you know, the Starbucks people, it's like 4:30, 4:40 in the morning. I'm like, oh, wow, what are you doing up so early? And Anthony's like, oh, you know, my wife is in labor right now. She's having a baby. And they're like, yeah, we're going to get your coffees out to you as soon as we can so that you can head to the hospital. So that was kind of funny. But so we get there, they check us in. She checks my amniotic, like she swabs to check to see and confirm that my water did break because amniotic fluid. Okay, so they confirmed that and they're like, yes, water did break, great. So they get me all hooked up to the monitors. I kind of chat with them. I'm like, you know, this is my birth plan. You're my nurses. And the doctor on call was this man that I had dealt with previously, which was not a good experience. And so I was like, where is my OBGYN? Like, who? I do not want this guy. But thankfully it was just like his last hour on call. So he was just checking in on me and he left. And the doctor who stayed with me for labor and delivery, she was amazing throughout. And she came in, she was like, okay, well, let's go over what's your birth plan, natural birth if possible, don't really want pain medication, I want to try different positions. She's like, okay, sounds good, we'll just keep monitoring. And she, you know, informed me of everything that was going on, what the contractions look like on the monitor, everything. So once we get checked in, I start to have contractions. And I'm like, yes, it's finally happening.